Yeah, hi everyone. We are going to start with a session in some time. Um, Wait for a couple of minutes and then we'll go to about starting the session. If you have any queries, you can put in the chat box. In the meantime, I can maybe answer the queries. The idea basically of this session I'll get across with it is to basically tell you some methods that will help you with regards to preparing when you're writing any exam. I'm taking up some questions from the CAT, but whatever methods that I'm teaching out here will be useful for any of the exam that you write, be it CAT, SNAP. So methods are important. If you get a right method, but it's not only knowing the method that is important. What is also important is being able to use that method regularly in your sums. Only then will you be able to, because what happens, students learn the methods and then you don't apply it, and when you don't apply it, then you're not able to, you will not be able to use it again and again in the exam. For example, I remember there was a technique of finding out squares, which is an easy technique of finding out squares. I knew it, okay, but whenever the time came to find out squares, I never used that method. Though that those methods could have been easily used and I could have solved in a shorter period of time, but I never used that method because I was not habituated to use those methods. So key to improve is to be able to think of the method, okay, moment you see a sum. The right method should click, and that comes only with practice, etc. So you need to be able to unlearn your old methods and learn your new methods. So cracking an aptitude test is not very difficult. The question is, can I use the right methods? But if I want to use the right methods, what is also important is I need to unlearn my old and learn new techniques. Then only will I get the right methods in place. Else I will not get the right methods in place. Okay, so little persistence is not difficult to get the right methods, but a little persistence is important as far as learning is concerned. And as long as you are persistent, you will be able to get it. There will be time where you will feel no, nahi ho raha hai. But I have known students who have scored negative marks and have been able to score well. I have known people who have scored maybe only 20-30 percentile in CAT and Quants, but able to score 99 percentile in Quants. Key is the methods. Okay. I'll take up a question before we start. My syllabus is completed, predicted level 1 and level 2 questions also. What should be done next for Quant? There are two ways of going forward, based on how you are comfortable with. One is you can directly start with mocks, one mock a week for now. Or you can pick up those topics you're not comfortable with and practice those. I would say a mix of the two. Write a mock, find out the area that you feel you're not comfortable, and then practice those areas. That's how you can go. But don't write more than one mock a week right now. Only one mock a week is away. And rest of your time focus on practicing and getting used to methods that are useful. That's what is important. Okay, for whom is this session? For anyone who is writing any aptitude exam. It may be CAT, it can be CET, it could be any exam. Aptitude examination, this session would be valid because the methods I am going to discuss with regards to Quant will be applicable to any questions. I've used these methods in the paper like SNAP and CET. I've used these methods in papers like CAT definitely and others. So you will, if you can understand this method, it will help. For now, what I'll be doing initially is I'll be just focusing on solving a few sums and getting the method. Maybe over a period of time, I will get involved in maybe teaching those methods. But yes, let's try to take up a few sums and understand how to apply those methods. And when I'm applying those methods, I will then tell you how to go about, getting those methods into place. Why the session is important? Because time is very important in the aptitude examination. If I can solve a question fast, I will be able to do more number of questions. And if I'm slow, I will be able to solve less number of questions. And to solve the questions fast, you need the right methods. I remember in one of my class, a student from one of the IITs was sitting actually. He was good, maths. So I gave a sum on the board and he solved. He got the answer. But when I went to his desk and I saw how long he had taken, almost 5 minutes to get the answer, but he got the answer. And it took a long time to get the answer. I just said that if you would have substituted the option, you would have got the answer. So he was good, he got the answer, but it took a longer time to get the answer, which you could have maybe got in maybe a minute's time by just substituting the option. So key is, if you can think of the right method at the right time, it will help you save a lot of time and hence maybe score more as far as the exam is concerned. Fine. So let's start with a few sums as we normally do. What we'll do is we'll take a few sums, around 5, 6, 7 odd sums in this session. I would want you to try to solve it. Look, one way to improve yourself is to try solving on your own. Only if you be able to try solve on your own will you improve, else it will not improve. In any case, so I always recommend it because the thinking process is very important, and that is what will help me. 6 months is more than sufficient. I don't see a problem in that. I have known people 4 months is sufficient if you are at home, more than sufficient. You need to only plan your paper properly, but yeah, it's sufficient in terms of preparation for CAT. Right, we start. If you get the answer, put it in the chat box. This is more or less like a theta question where there is no options. You need to solve and try to get the answer. Actually, no values are given, but it's a simple trick which is normally used in most of the such kind of questions. I've seen quite a few questions like this, both in the mocks and some in the actual CAT, and a simple idea basically gets you the answer. And that is true with regards to any minimization, maximization sum, which is common in the exams. If you get the answer, you can put in the chat box. Okay, let me explain if you have not got it. Yeah, the simple thing out here is yes, strongman, yeah, right. Normally in any minimization and maximization sum, okay, the values are minimum or maximum either when they're equal or they're extreme. I mean extreme cases. I mean one will be equal, one will be extreme cases. These are two cases when you will get the values. So either when they equal or when they extreme cases, you will get minimum, maximum. So substitute both and check out. For example, if I take equal values, okay, that's the first thing I'll check. So what I'll do is I'll substitute 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 1, 1. So what you get is you get 2 into 2 into 2 upon 1, which will be 8. Okay. Yes, Sumant, Himang, Aman, strongman, yeah. But again, we don't know this is minima or maxima. We get the value 8, but is it minima or maxima? How do you know? What I do in that case is take some other values. I mean, a different value from equal value. Let's say 2, 1, 1 and check out. If I put 2, 1, 1, I will get 2 plus 1, 3, right? 1 plus 1, 2, 1 plus 2, 3 upon 2 into 1 into 1. So what do you get? 3 into 2 into 3 upon 2. Which is 9. The value increased. That means this value is the minimum and not the maximum. Again, when I put equal values, the answer I may get is either minima or maxima. That's normally the case. But here I don't know whether 8 is minima or maxima. So I put a different set of values and check out. So I realize that as I change the values, my value increases. That means this should be minimum. Right. So that's how it goes. So that means the answer here will be 8. The minimum value will be 8. Thinking process is substitute always when you have such cases, put equal values and substitute, you get the answer. That's how you need to go. Right, I hope this is clear. I'll go to next sum. Again, try solving it. I mean, if you are comfortable with mathematics, I mean if you feel you're good at mathematics, then I would suggest solve easy questions in your mind. It becomes much faster. Like this question, the previous question. If you can solve in a mind, I'm right now taking simpler questions just to understand. Maybe later stage I'll take a little tougher questions. But yeah, if you understand the concepts and you know how to solve, try using your mind and solving in your mind. That would help you to fasten up in terms of solving the sums. Sumant, yes, you can definitely improve on DLR. The key in DLR is, apart from the methods that you use, is a selection of sets becomes very important. Identifying whether sets are tough or easy becomes very important in a DLR sets. So the key in a DLR is, yes, identifying what, and then make a book for your DLR. Make a book and write down, what makes a set tough for you, what makes a set easy for you. That's one thing that you'll write. Apart from that, that means the selection criteria. Apart from that, in the book, what you can also write is, if you come across a new subset of DLR set, something which is different, note down in the book. Don't write a normal routine sums, but anything that you come different, which you feel the format is good, then you can note down in the set and try to solve. Right. A simple way of following. Normally, what I do is I substitute values in checkout, and that is what I felt is very effective as such. In this case, percentage, I could put maybe price into quantity is equal to consumption. So total consumption is nothing but person should a family reduces consumption as quantity is consumption and is expenditure. Sorry, price into quantity, which is consumption, is expenditure. Now, one good way to do is put 10 and 10. Okay, 10 and 10 will give you expenditure 100. It's good to assume values. Now, when a price of commodity increases by 20%, the price becomes 12. Okay, 10 say it becomes 12, and expenditure of commodity increases by 8% becomes 108. Okay, so this becomes 10 to 12, this becomes 100 to 108. You want how much is the quantity? Let's say quantity is X. So X becomes 108 upon 12, which becomes 9. So your old quantity was 10, new quantity has become 9. So reduction of 10% would be option. Yeah, that's the answer. Yes, Sumant, Mayank, Priyatosh, yeah, that's the answer. So basically what you're doing is, you're assuming 10 and 10 to get 100. Now price is increasing by 20%, which is 12. Expenditure by 8% becomes 108. So quantity becomes 9. 12 into X is 108. So X has become 9 quantity. So from 10 the quantity became 9, which is reduction of 10%. The other ways of finding ratio, method ratio. The method ratio is effective when the expenditure is the same. Then a ratio method. I'll come back to that method later on. Right now we look at this method and then go to next sub. Okay, this is a little printing mistake. This should be 9. This should be 7. So options are 3, 7, 9 and 13. That was what the option was in the sum. 3, 7, 9 and 13. Technically you can get this answer if you understand the sum properly. Geometry sum, I know a lot of people do face problem in geometry, but you can answer this question without even calculating it if you understand the sum properly. 108 came Archit because there was a 8% increase in expenditure. Expenditure was 100. There was a 8% increase in expenditure, became 108. That's how it came across. The old expenditure was 100, the new expenditure became 108. So that's where 108 came into picture. Options are 3, 7, 9, 13. M is the point distance 8 units from point N. Maximum distance of M and P. Okay, it was written B, okay, and yeah, it was a printing mistake in that case. It was 8 in that case. Yeah, I think that's a printing mistake. I'll just go back to a previous a couple of questions asking. So this is 8%, not B percentage, which is therefore 8% came 108. So my mistake. 100 to 108. 8% increase. In it. Okay. So if I always think how to answer a question without maybe trying to solve. I mean, what it is. You have M is a point at a distance of 8 units from N. So between M and N, there is 8 units. P is another point with coordinate minus 3, 5. You want a distance between maximum distance M and P. Now maximum distance will be M and P when P is on the other side of N, far away from N. So we know this distance, okay, P. Or basically I know another way of looking at it is I have P, I have N. P and N points are known. Okay. And N and M are 8 unit distance, which is maximum distance will be only M is at the other side of P. So this is 8 M point. Okay, N is here, P. So automatic distance between M and P has to be more than 8. A option, B option ruled out. If you look at the coordinates of N and P, you will realize that it is obviously more than 1. Minus 3, 5 and 1, 2 obviously is more than 1. Points are far off. So obviously more than 9. You can mark the answer as 13 directly. Okay, that's the answer. So without solving it, I can make out that N and P are 8, N and M are 8. For P and M to be maximum, P has to be other side of N. That means the distance between M and P has to be more than 8 for sure. So A, B option ruled out. Distance is more than automatically 1. Minus 3, 5 and 1, 2 you can see more than 1. So obviously more than 9. So answer has to be 13. Now in this case you can also directly see. Also you should be able to make out the distance between 2 points by just looking at the points. For example, you say 1, 2, you comma minus 3, 5. Remember Pythagoras theorem. It is based on Pythagoras theorem. Distance between x coordinate is 4. If you look at 1 and minus 3, this difference is 4. Difference between y coordinate is 3. If difference in x coordinate is 4, y coordinate is 3 based on Pythagoras theorem. I mean, this is difference in y coordinate, which is 3. This is difference in x coordinate, which is 4. So which will be 5. 3, 4, 5 triplet. So from that you can make out this is 5. So 5 plus 8, 13. Okay, you should know simpler triplets. The moment you know simple triplets, you will be able to solve things faster. The 4 triplets that you should know, which I normally say by heart, is 3, 4, 5 sides of a right angle triangle. 5, 12, 13, 7, 24, 25 and 8, 15, 17. These are the 4 triplets you should know by heart. And distance between 2 points is based on triplet. So 1 and minus 3 distance is 4, 2 and 5 distance is 3. So 3, 4. So distance, actual distance between them will be 5. Side of a right angle triangle. Also remember, any odd number will give you a triplet. Like 3 will give you 4 and 5. Like 3 square is 9. 9 gives you 4 and 5. 5 square is 25. 25 gives you 12 and 13. 7 square is 49. 49 gives you 24, 25. Same way, if I take 9, 9 square is 81. So 40 and 41. Triplet. Same way, 11. 11 square is 121. We'll get 60 and 61. So 11, 60, 61 is triplet. So any odd number will give you a triplet. Just square it and break it up so the difference is 1. You get a triplet. Right? Triplets are useful. Distance between points, trigonometry, a lot of places. To know the basic triplets, that helps. Again, theta question. Try solving it. There are a lot of colleges that don't look at academics in a big way. Even with lower academics, you can get convert. Most of the non-IIMs have lesser weightage in academics. So if you really have high CAT scores, then you have a chance of convert. But yeah, top 10 could be difficult, definitely. Beyond that, yes, top 20 could be. Yes. Just to give you a hint, in these sums, You can solve it fast. I mean, there's a technique to solve it fast in this sum. Just to give you a hint, usually you have cost is nothing but milk and profit is nothing but water. Just put it. Cost is nothing but milk, profit is nothing but water. Just a hint for solving the sum. Anyway, try solving on your own first before I. If you don't know, this could be a little tough, but that's fine. Anyway, just put it, cost price is equal to selling price upon 1 plus profit percentage. If you want to find cost price from selling price, then this is the formula. You can use this. If you're comfortable with a technique, this can be solved orally also, but if you don't know, it could be a longer process. So let me start off. A little tougher than the previous sums, obviously. Let's just understand this. Because everything is in percentage, let me assume that he purchased milk. Okay, purchased milk at 100 rupees. Okay, and sells it at 20% more than the price. That means he sells at 120 rupees. I'm just putting it. So here's purchase at 100 rupees milk. And his selling price becomes 120 rupees because he's selling at 20% price above the cost of milk. What is the cost price? Let me just start a cost price. Cost price is selling price upon 1 plus profit percentage, which is 120 upon 1.5. 50% is the profit, remember. So 1.5. 50% is 0.5, which becomes 80. 80 becomes the cost price. Profit percent upon 100, 50 upon 100, 1.5, 80. So if I put it across, 100 rupees is what was that, and 120 rupees is 20 rupees is profit, which from that 100 rupees he purchased, 80 was the cost and 20 was the profit. From that 100 which he did, the profit element which he got extra, let's leave it. From that 80 was the cost and 20 was the profit. That means the amount of milk and water is 4:1. So if milk is 1 liter, water will be 250 ml. That's the answer, right? So if I say my cost price is 100, what I purchased milk, so I'm selling it at 120 rupees. If I'm selling it at 120 rupees, since I'm making 50% profit, my actual cost of the thing that I'm selling is 80 rupees. Though I'm selling at 120 and I'm making 50% profit, for me the cost price of the whole mixture is 80 rupees, which means that 80 rupees is milk. And at 20 rupees then becomes water. From that 100 rupees which I put, that 20 extra the profit I'm making. From that 100 rupees which is there, 80 is the milk and 20 is water. So ratio of milk and water is 4:1. Okay, so automatically with 1 liter of milk you will get 250 milliliter of water. So answer will be 250 ml. Yeah, this is a little on a tougher side because it requires concepts, but if you know it, you can solve it orally. Okay, just 100, 120, 120, 50% profit becomes cost as 80. So 80 and 20 are milk and water. So if 80 and 20 are milk and water, automatically for 1 liter it will be 250 ml will be. Yeah, so answer here is 250. So we'll come to this. Methods are normally useful, but we'll come back to this. We'll come back with the ratio. Sum on geometry, a little different, but try solving it. Try to get the answer. So now we are doing this. Some of these methods are new, so you will find it difficult initially, some of them. But as and when you start applying it on a regular basis, you will be able to apply it on a more. You will be able to. It will be easier to apply. That's how it works. Right now you will find it difficult, but as and when you practice and you start applying it, you will get. One way in geometry, in this putting it across, no data is given. And this is true for geometry, this is true for anything else. When no data or data is missing, you can assume any data as long as it satisfies the constraints given to you. Okay, you can use any data, anything, as long as it satisfies the constraint given to you. That's what is important. Simple, as I said, you can assume anything as long as it satisfies the constraint. There's nothing given about the angle, just given at the isosceles triangle. Nothing else is given about this sum. So the easiest thing to do out here, okay, say 63 is I know. So I'm assuming this 61 is a perpendicular line. 61 is a perpendicular line. Okay, they said 61 is AD, but they've not said how AD and what AD. They're not even given the angles. It could be anything. You could have 63, 61 possible. This is one type of triangle. If this is there, then I can assume 61 as the perpendicular. So 63, 61. I want BD into DC. So how do I find BD? Pathshala theorem. So BD will be equal to root of 63 square minus 61 square. If you remember squares which I said above 50, technique of solving squares above 50. 63 is 13 above 50. So 25 plus 13, 38, and 13 square, 169. So 39, 69. 61 square, there's a method which says square double 1. Take a number before 1, 6. 6 square is 36. Double of 6 is 12 and 1 becomes 3721. So this becomes root of, if you look at 248. So this is root to 248. This is root of 248. So root of 248 into root of 248 will give you 248. Technically you can mark the answer C option. There is, if you're assuming there is one more extreme case that you can assume, that will also confirm the value. What is the extreme case that you can assume? You can assume it to be a straight line, an absolute straight line. Nothing, full straight line. Angle almost 180 degree. 63, 63, and let's say this is 61. Hypothetical situation. Okay, 63, 63, and 61. Which case B and D the distance will be 2. D and C the distance will be 126 minus 2, or 63 plus 61, 124. So again BD into DC will become 2 into 124, 248. So I'm assuming it to be a straight line. So again there you will realize that 63 minus 61 will be BD2 and 63 plus 61 will be DC, which is 2 and 124, which will also give you 248. If you look at both extreme cases gives you 248. Since both extreme cases give you 248, you can directly mark 248. It is definitely the answer because different cases are giving you different same answers. So 248 is the answer. Key is to able to assume things which will help you to make it simpler. So what I did out here was purely looked at extreme case. So I could have taken this as straight line, I would have got the answer directly, or I would have taken it as perpendicular. Now, initially you'll find it difficult to assume things, but assuming, and if you can really assume the right thing, you can be really fast in the examination. A lot of sums can become really fast. Because if you look at in today's case, a lot of sums are just assume and try to solve, right? So I'll just glance to whatever I did today. The first sum what we did was minima maxima sum. We just assume equal values and then try to get the answer because we know minima or maximum normally gives the equal, and then we confirmed it. That's how our first sum. Second, we assume 10 and 10 and we try to solve it. It became easier to calculate and solve. Again, you need to be good at calculation, but assume. Again, assumption becomes important. Okay. Here it was basically drawing. If you can picturize a whole sum, you could get the answer. You knew, looking at the option, you can make out more than 8, so 2 options ruled out. And between the points more than 1, you could actually eliminate the option and get the answer without calculating in this. This required a little bit of concept, but if you could start with cost price 100 and then solve, that would become easier and solve. But yeah, you need a little bit of concept of cost price, selling price, etc. But understand the main concept is that in these type of sums, cost is milk and profit is water. If this profit was not involved, it would be directly you would have got the answer. But since profit is involved, you need to try to calculate a bit and get the answer. Last is geometry. Assume two sides equal and solve. That gets. Yes, Rajat, what you're saying is right. But I assumed a straight line. Remember, in the second case, here I assumed this. Here I assumed a straight line, almost straight. Means it's almost 180 degree. So if it's almost 180 degree, then BD will be AB minus AD, which because they're almost straight line. So 63 minus 61, which is 2, and BC will be AD plus AC because it's a straight line. So therefore 61 plus 63, 124. Because I've assumed straight. I know it is hypothetically impossible, but you can always assume extreme cases will get the answer. In a geometry it works. You assume extreme case, it becomes easier to solve, it becomes answer. As a matter of fact, second case is easier to solve than the first case. In the first case you have to put Pythagoras theorem and solve. In the second case you don't even have to put Pythagoras theorem. You know 2, you know 124, multiply, you get 248, you get the answer. But because people don't take second case into, don't assume second case, therefore I first took the first case, because in the first case it becomes easier to picturize a right angle triangle or isosceles triangle, right? Assumption becomes easier. Right, I hope this was clear. I'm just winding up here. We'll take up a few sums every time, look at the concepts and look at methods, and these methods will be useful. Since I'll keep on repeating these methods again at a later period, the moment if you apply these methods, it will help you with regards to different sums that comes in the exam. Later on, maybe I'll tell you how to apply this in the actual sums that come in the exam. But in the meantime, read. Also, I will not keep this video on the YouTube purely because I want you all to attend it. Keeping on a YouTube, it doesn't make sense because I want it to be regular. People who are serious will come and attend it. So please ensure that you attend it. We'll keep the session every Wednesday, 10:15 to 10:45, and I hope that is convenient to you. Right? So with this, we'll wind up. Good night and see you in the next session. As long as you get the answer, you can put the property. No harm in that. Yeah. Thank you.